This is the BrydgeMini Keyboard for the iPad mini versions 1, 2, and 3. Hi, Dan for Gear Diary. If you're like me, you found that your iPad is much more than simply a consumption device. You use it for almost everything. That's certainly the case for me. And while I tend to use my iPad Air 2, I do love my iPad mini. It's the version 3 iPad mini. I love the small size. I love the quick speed of it. It's a great way to go really, really light, but not rely specifically on your smartphone, even though the iPhone 6 Plus and 6 Plus S are fairly large. Nothing's going to compete with the real estate of an iPad, even if it's the iPad mini. Brydge has come out with a keyboard for the iPad mini that does a great job of upping the productivity of your iPad mini. It's sized perfectly with your iPad mini, and it has, you can't see it because I've got a bodyguard's skin on my iPad mini, but it actually matches the color, the metal of the iPad mini as well if you don't have a skin on it. This keyboard has an MSRP of $129.99, and it does a really, really good job of adding to the productivity. What I love about this is a few things. First off, the keys are really wonderful island keys that work really, really well. They have a nice amount of play to them, and they're really, really responsive. Obviously, it's not going to be a full-size keyboard because the iPad mini is smaller and it's sized to match the iPad mini, but it does make the best use of the real estate that you get. You have these nice little bumpers here so that the screen of the iPad doesn't come up directly against the keys. And you have this really unusual hinge design. We'll take my iPad out in a second so you can take a look at it, but it really holds the iPad quite nicely. Let's actually take the iPad out. So here are the hinges which operate independent of one another. They are really, really, they have a nice amount of torque to them so that they're not going to open and close on their own. You really have to force the iPad to shift positions. And they have this nice protective material going all the way around so your iPad never comes in contact with the metal of the hinges. So if we look at the keyboard, it's a smaller keyboard, but it's really a full keyboard. Control, Option, Command, your space button, your Option button here, your cursor movement right here, your keys here, and then you have a full line of specialty buttons. You can lock your iPad, brightness settings, bring up the soft keyboard, search button, and then audio controls here, volume buttons here as well. So it's a smaller keyboard, but it really is a complete keyboard, and it is a pleasure. It's a real pleasure to type on. To get your iPad inside the Brydge Mini is really a simple process. You simply take the iPad, you put it so that the smaller forward parts of the clamp go underneath the screen, and then you simply carefully press down. Once that's been accomplished, if you close the iPad, you want to just line them up. They are perfectly sized for each other. So you just line it up and then you end up having basically what feels like one thick iPad, but it's not. You simply open it up and you're good to go. As I mentioned, you have the advantage of the hinges being really, really tight so that it'll hold at any position you set it at, and it'll even go pretty much flat. You also have the advantage of it coming down a little bit lower, so you actually get the keyboard raised a little bit, which makes for a little bit more of a comfortable typing experience. Speaking of the specialty buttons, if you hit this button here twice, you get the window spread. If you hit it and hold it, it activates Siri. So you can do pretty much everything you need to do from the keyboard itself. As I said, it is a smaller than full-size keyboard because of the iPad mini's size, but it's actually remarkably comfortable to type on. You have these nice feet here that actually keep it from sliding around and also keep the metal of the Brydge Mini from getting scratched. You have your power button here and then a keyboard button here. The Brydge Mini should get about 3 months of runtime per charge, and so it is a great way to have a keyboard with you all the time to protect the screen when you're in transit. It does have the smart functionality, so it'll turn off the iPad when you close it, and when you need to use it, it's as simple as lifting it up and you are good to go. If you have an iPad mini and wanted to get a little more functionality out of it, this is a great way to do that. This is the Brydge Mini. It has an MSRP of $129.99. We'll have a full review over on Gear Diary. That's geardiary.com. please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would appreciate your doing so. This is Dan from Gear Diary. Thanks very much for watching.